What's up, YouTube? It's your main man, AB the Hero, back again with another video. And as we look at some of the initial reactions from professional players, NBA players around the league on what happened with Kevin Durant last night, I really wanted to just chime in and give you my thoughts and opinions. This is epic, man. This is epic. My brother reached out to me yesterday when the news broke that Kevin Durant was going to play, and I was saying that it won't matter because obviously he hadn't played in so long that he wouldn't be as efficient as he would like, even if he was actually healthy. And he came out hot, amazing, playing great basketball. So it just goes to show you that when you're a pro, you're a pro, and when you're at that high of a level, you just always at that high of a level. Obviously, though, you could see that he was very hobbled, and where I think that people are not giving enough credit to, there was this one incident that happened during the game that I feel like changed the course of that game for both teams. Especially the Golden State Warriors, and this is going to have epic effects on them for not only this season but also next season as well. As there was a series where Kevin Durant was on the wing guarding, I think it was Fred VanVleet. And Fred was going to work, trying to really put the pressure on Kevin Durant. And honestly, when the game started, I was expecting the Raptors to want to do that. If he's going to be out there, you know he's hobbled, you know he's on one leg, somebody put pressure on him. And the Warriors did a good job of making sure he was on the off man and not guarding anybody who was in attack mode. So finally, the Raptors caught him, and they went at Kevin Durant, and he was playing some pretty stingy defense, eventually leading to a foul. But then you seen Kevin Durant light up a little bit and start clapping and getting hella excited about it, because I feel like that movement and his ability to lock down and play that bit of defense really put it in his head that he was a bit more healthier than he probably expected himself to be. Because at the beginning of the game, while he was dominating, he was pretty much a spot-up shooter. When you got a 7-foot spot-up shooter, literally it's damn near impossible to contest that shot. So if you can get him remotely open, he's the shooter at the caliber of Kevin Durant, he can knock that down. But I feel like that was the moment that really put Kevin Durant, built his confidence up, and then allowed him to come back down the court on a few possessions later. And then you seen him teared once he'd stopped spotting up shooting and started to get into the dribble handles, trying to drive to the basket and create his own shot. Immediately once he did that, his Achilles said, bam, I'm done. All right. Now, congrats to the Warriors who were able to hold on and win that game in the fourth quarter. Your boy Kawhi Leonard turned up the pace, and he looked like he was trying to put this game away put the series away in Toronto. So kudos to the Warriors for being able to hold him off. But I will say, and earlier I talked about this having ramifications and impacts on like the league. This injury right now for Kevin Durant, if it's an Achilles injury, could put him out for an entire season, which sucks because he was going into free agency. So if you're a team like the Knicks or the Nets, he's going to want a max contract. So now you can go pay max dollars, but you have a guy who you know is not going to play for at least 1 year of that contract. And then other stipulations because of the way the NBA contracts are structured and the length that you can offer a player when he's switching teams and all of this, as they incentivize you to stay with other teams, you realize that you may give him 4 years, but you can only have him for 2 because then he's going to want a player option after the second year anyway. So you're going to have 1 year of Kevin Durant on your team if you trade for him or sign him in free agency at this moment. I think, though, with this injury, it does incentivize Kevin Durant to stay in Golden State because of those things. Now, there's a lot of comparisons between this situation and 2 other guys, Isaiah Thomas and Kawhi Leonard. Now, we've seen Isaiah Thomas in the playoffs with a bad hip play until he damn near destroyed his hip, only to be then traded by the Boston Celtics in the offseason. The other example is we've seen Kawhi Leonard and so be traded by the Boston Celtics in the offseason. him not be able to get that long-term contract that he was expecting, and then to struggle with that same injury the entire next year before eventually just being shut down. Now, we see, he struggled with that injury and didn't even start the beginning of the next season with the Cavaliers until like halfway through it, and then played for some with the Cavs and Lakers, and then was shut down, just in giving himself time to heal. Then we seen Kawhi Leonard have his quad injury, and all of the folks on the Spurs team is saying you should play through it. You can make it. You're cleared to play. And he's saying, no, I'm hurt. I'm not playing. And I feel like in this instance, honestly, people probably feel like, because hindsight is 2020, that Kevin Durant probably shouldn't have been out there last night. Now, he does get kudos for being a warrior and trying to play through it. But what you see is that now with that injury, is like, man, maybe obviously you were not ready to play. So him and what I feel like then people are trying to say the difference, he should have took the Kawhi Leonard method and just not played and waited till he was healthy. Now, the truth of the matter is that Kawhi's injury, according to him, was so severe, he damn near missed a year and a half of basketball. He also then still missed 20 games from this year. So regardless of playing or not playing, if Kevin Durant's Achilles if it's torn as this is suspected to be, he'll miss probably the same amount of time that Kawhi missed by just saying, I'm going to sit out, I'm not going to play anyway. So it's kind of a wash at this point when you compare those two stories. I do think that if Kevin Durant was really trying to learn from how somebody's situation, it would potentially be more so IT with free agency coming up. And if he was looking to switch teams, he's going to have to go somewhere that they honestly believe in him. And also like we see with Kawhi in Toronto, where the Spurs were trying to force him back to play, as well the Raptors here are saying, man, take your time, get rested, you'll be okay, we'll wait for you. So I think that it's a very interesting situation with Kevin Durant and his injury. And also when you think about the media and the Warriors and their role in this thing, because they kept the hope alive. Kevin Durant is going to be back. When he first got injured during, I think it was the Rockets series, everybody thought this was an Achilles injury. And the Warriors were saying, no, it's a calf injury. It's a calf injury. And come to find out, he then ends up tearing his Achilles. So everybody thought when it first happened that he was done regardless. And the Warriors, and from what I'm hearing, even Kevin Durant's camp was kind of hoping that he would be able to come back around this time to play. So I think that this ideal of remember Game 3 when Klay Thompson was held out for his own good because he had the hamstring injury and they made the call. I think that what we see here is the value that these teams place on winning this championship over a particular player. And also the value that these players place on winning these championships over their own health and well-being as well. And so I do think that it's a twofold decision in this case. I believe that we see from guys like Kawhi Leonard that you do have the call and ability to say, look, I ain't ready, I'm not playing. Now, you do also have to deal with a lot of pressure in those cases from the media, from your team, your teammates. We've seen everybody and their mama was coming at Kawhi Leonard for not wanting to play. Even Skip Bayless to this day is on Kawhi Leonard's neck about not wanting to play. So it's a tough place for these athletes to be in. And I just think that, like a lot of those players said, man, everybody's praying for Kevin Durant, as I am. I hope that he heals up and comes back quick. Also, I will say it was wild right when it happened to see folks' initial reaction in the building to be extra excited that he went down. Now, I can semi understand that because sports is a ruthless game. When you think about the ideal that I've played college football, and I've seen times in practice we had a guy who got a concussion, and I'm talking about body went stiff as a board, and we're in the middle of a drill, and we didn't stop practice. We didn't wait to see if he was going to be okay. They said, all right, move, pick up the cones and move. And he laid there stiff as a board as we continued the drill on the other side of the field. So sports in general are ruthless when it comes to injuries. This game continued knowing all of the ramifications and emotions that it would probably be drawn up for Kevin Durant in the back. And as you've seen, some of the starters walked him back there, but then obviously the show must go on, and it does. So I think that is, while it is in poor taste to cheer for somebody going down that way, I can at least also understand how in that moment, in a sport where they tell you the next man up, if you're a guy who was a 6-man, 7-man, and you're not getting the minutes, look at Boogie Cousins last night. He was not going to play in that game. He's about to get a DNP. Kevin Durant goes down, and he gets up and gets to have himself a good game. A guy like Boogie Cousins, who also needs those minutes because he's looking for a check coming up this summer. It's one of those interesting. It's one of those situations where it's Boogie Cousins sitting on the bench, and this is not actually what I believe he's doing, but you can see how somebody in that situation be waiting on somebody to go down for his time up. I want to be able to play, so if it's next man up, then we got a lot of injuries. Hopefully one of these injuries flare up and I can get in there and get my bag. So I can understand how the fans' initial reaction would be to be semi-excited, like, oh yes, we got this now. This dude Kevin Durant was killing us for these first quarter that he was in, and maybe we'll be able to pull this out. So it is it's a sad story, man, and I would tell you that I believe that there's gonna be a whistleblower who's gonna come out and really give the insight on this decision and this whole process for Kevin Durant. And I wouldn't be surprised if we seen a 30 for 30 or some type of documentary come out really going into detail on just this situation of these NBA finals with this Kevin Durant decision, and looking at how this impacts the NBA over the next couple of years, because we see what the Warriors look like without Durant right now. If they re-sign him to a max deal, it's not freeing up no extra money to be able to replace a Kevin Durant. You're going to be shorthanded again next season, and you're also losing Livingston, damn near Iguodala. It's time for him to hang it up as well. So you got some things happening with that Golden State Warriors team, and just teams around the NBA who you see how the shift of one player can affect the entire NBA. As you look at LeBron go from the Eastern Conference to the Western Conference, and all of a sudden the Milwaukee Bucks is a dynamo team. The Toronto Raptors is now in the NBA Finals, getting ready to win a championship for the first time ever. You see the shift that Kawhi made, moving from conference to conference, and it's the same thing. If you play chess and you take the queen off the board, and I say queen because it's one of the most powerful pieces. You say the king, you can't take the king off because the game is over. But if you see, it's a different game once you have the other person's queen, and that's Kevin Durant. But like I said, it's not a shot at him. So we'll see the game of the NBA will look completely different next season without Kevin Durant. And that's sad. But folks, it's your main man, ABD Hero. Make sure you like, comment, let me know what you're thinking down in the comment section, and subscribe, hit that notification bell. We got more content coming. It's your main man, ABD Hero. I'm out. Peace.